Hello and welcome back to Keiko, the channel. In today's episode, episode 10, we will be doing a little bit of a recap episode of the first 9 episodes. I plan on doing this every 10 episodes, for I plan on keeping this series going for a while. And if you have to watch badly edited videos to get to the good edited videos, then I feel this series will not go anywhere. So, starting with episode 1. Alright, we spawn into the world, noticing the village nearby, and immediately get to telling you about our goals. I also tell you how insane the questing is, before getting right into it and getting threatened by the magical rat. It was telling me to sign some sort of contract. After getting threatened by that rat, I felt awfully hungry and decided to investigate this full-course meal before getting into the skill tree and looking at all that. It seemed to be standard classes, rogue, warrior, archer, tank. We didn't look too deep into that before heading right onto the map and figuring out where we are. We then ran straight to the nearby village investigating. I find this little dugout, thingy here. We head right in, finding an iron anvil and a block of raw iron as well as a little bit of loot. We then jump right into the quests. I then find this contract of sorts. It looked sketchy. It even required me to pay in blood. I was then given the option of a gift. I end up picking the most boring one, the Animals Volume 1, but I could have done a lot with that suspicious piano. I also end up receiving this forgotten trash can. You can take a look at the loot there. It was very good. Very good loot. It turns out rat theft is a crime, so I'll be seeing somebody about that soon. Or maybe I won't. Who knows? We then search for a tree. And find a tree. After destroying the tree, I discover that there may be a beehive nearby. After we get set up with some essentials like a crafting table, I notice a tweaker in the distance. I then got bored and began exploring nearby buildings, finding this canvas-packed mud. Inside, I found something quite nice. A botanist workbench. Finding a bed in there, we also sleep for our first night. Would I not sleep for not normal mode? Heading out in the morning, we equip ourselves with a furnace and begin smelting the iron block we had received earlier. That'll work.
Oh dear! Ah!
After respecting their tweakage, we find some soot in that building we were in earlier. Finding that cool, I look at it. Then having the iron smelted up, we then make ourselves some rudimentary tools that we need in the current moment. After packing up, we then decide to go exploring, finding a create structure. Don't do it. After entering, we're greeted by some lovely archaeology table I find and some nice loot. After leaving and heading up the stairs, I discover something amazing. A freaking waystone. Very good. This place is called a Ramery or something. I keep forgetting that. Heading into this next room, I observe this beautiful design. It's really well made. We then looted the place, as one should. And after grabbing a quick snack, I also noticed this bounty board. Very cool. We have to look this up later. I want to do some of it. I want to be a bounty hunter. Also, there's a quest for this, but it hasn't completed yet, so I guess it just didn't work. Also, there is honey under the carpet. You can't hear it, but it is so sloppy. Let's just say that. Yeah, mad. Now on to episode 2, the first adventure. Starting in the same create structure we ended last episode in, I remark on the signed contract and a full inventory before getting shot in the face by this dude. It was not nice at all. Yeah. And killed by that guard. Was a very sad first death. Very sad. We then grab our stuff before discovering our next goal. I feel it is already time to start looking for a home location. Then after giving reference to the map once more, we head on our way to this majestic home we look for. Soon. Not before observing a kangaroo and what appears to be a batch of cactus. Heading off in the right direction, we pass by some kangaroo. Benedict Cumberbatch. I've said this a couple times, I think, but this game can have some real beautiful views. Damn. Damn, son. After referencing to the map once more, we then pass through the forest very hastily. We then find the fated location. I have an idea. We then place down our workstations and a chest before clearing out our inventory. Then remarking on the need for a day counter, which I agree, we get right into the quest. After receiving a soul stone, the title lumberjack, and some coins as quest rewards, I then decide to go chop a tree. As to which we do effortlessly before deciding to get a good night's rest. Oh, what? As morning came, we packed up, not before questioning the emu and insulting it. Very sad, I shouldn't have done that. We then cook up some meat before making some wooden armor. And I think I look baller, alright? I look baller. Like Bob Mahler in this. Absolutely hit it out now. We then make and place another chest before looking into the quests again. Getting more loot, let's see what the rewards are. Smoked ham. I then ate the questmaster's famous cookie, which gave me a mining effect, which made me rush to go find some caves to mine. I end up making a staircase down. We then left, as for we had no torches. And after a quest completed, this fly came by named Guy. It's a cool fly. It's a guy. Why fly guy, you may ask? I don't know, but it came from a quest. Even after the haste effect had left us, I decided to go mining again. Deep down in the mines, after mining some zinc, we found some lapis. It was cool how that glowed. And after mining for a bit longer, we find a cave with a vampire in it. Look at that thing down there, scary. And after mining for quite a bit longer, we return to the surface, safe and with a lot of loot. We then get our materials a smelting before making some more furnaces to smelt more materials more faster. Let's go. As you can see here, we then make a pickaxe and a sword. After which I get struck by lightning by that bloody blitz over there. Yeah, you tell him. I also discovered quicksand, which I kind of panic. We get out of the quicksand safely though before attempting on that blitz's life. And fail miserably and go back to smelting ores before getting attacked by it again. It was a complicated situation, alright? I then decide to go mining to avoid this problem. I then make a very important discovery.
Oh wow, man.
I then mine the diamonds with gratitude. Very lovely indeed. I make a diamond pickaxe before looking into the quests again to see if there was any diamond related quests. There was not. That I found anyway. We then return to the surface with new loot in hand. Surely our problems will go away with these diamonds, eh? That's also a cool shrub. It's under the above the vitrified sand. I found that stuff cool. I then talked about dreams and aspirations before it reached day 3. After doing a little bit of inventory management, we go right back into the quests, which had directed me to making a Tinker's Construct crafting station. I then head back to the quest, making a crafting table on a stick. Then deciding to plant some trees, I run over to do so. After that, I begin planning some more, of course, why wouldn't I? Got some real cool things on my mind of what we could do. I then experiment with some glass making and make myself some iron boots, awarding myself with a suit up achievement or advancement. And after looking at more quests, I decided to make a nature's compass, ate a snack, gained a heart from that snack, and then we got some logs for the nature's compass. I then make the said nature's compass before testing it to show you how it works. And while looking at where one of the biomes was I also found a potential meteor site. This would be good for applied energistics too in the future. Ooh, good thing. Good things to come indeed. I then collect the soul stone and 50 coins as a reward for making the nature's compass. After which I decide to make a campfire, which gives a cool reward I am happy you can hear in later episodes. Still questing, the next quest I do is make a home or just make a bed, which gives the doorbell. Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. We're now on to episode 3, construction and future planning. Skipping the intro as we've done each time before, I ring the doorbell after placing it and look at the beautiful loot. We got a freaking waystone and some other loot and 50 coins from that. I opened the loot to find a bloody cloud in a bottle and more loot and 150 coins, but that is a game changer. Getting some vegetable soup from that other one there. So I equipped that and tested it out before going on to chop down some trees for construction material. I then decided we need more trees. I chopped down quite a few trees, by the way. We then see this cool guy show up out of nowhere with some rats and tail. Seeing his trades, I like his trades. I hope we find him or hers selves again. And after heading back home, I dispatch of some night creatures before deciding to go to bed. The next morning, one full of productivity, I begin sketching out what I'm gonna do in the house, starting to mine out the mountain. Finishing that with editing magic, we then decide on what type of bricks we're gonna be using, which I will be using bricks, and prepare for the materials we're gonna be using. And of course, more future planning ensues as I am excited. But of course we can't do anything without being assaulted by demons on every forefront. Scary creature, that's a naga. That thing's gonna swoop down and I'm gonna It did! And after making a quick escape from that thing, I discover some underwater loot. Of course there's demons down here as well though. I eventually deal with the creatures around to check the loot, and then that guy appeared. That was very rude and not nice. Get away! And after dealing with that threat, I drowned. After grabbing our stuff, I continue fighting the cursed creatures, at which a spiritual dog comes to assist me. Dog comes in spirit to aid. Having had dealt with that, we get some of that beautiful loot that we can't really loot because we're drowning and need to escape. But we come back later for this. And after avoiding the dragon with legendary skill, we find a secret path into our home. Then making a break for it into bed, and we live. And he scored! We then take refuge where we came from because there's still a bunch of demons around. Very fun. I just ran to this other spot, killed this skeleton, and got a gift for it. Nothing important, but then we somehow make and place some chests, even with a dragon about it. Cleaning out the inventory. I then decide it's enough before getting pinned into a cave. Very smart of me. That's cool though. It's not every day I get pinned into a cave. Escaping that, we begin our epic combat with the dragon, the mandrake, the naga. And then we eventually take it down. It's a crit in the sky that can take it down, and we defeat it, getting no loot whatsoever, but that's fine. We are able to build again. And so I do, beginning to find what kind of blocks I want to use. A lot of options. I will use most of these in future builds. You can count on it. And we begin construction. But wait, with the snap of my fingers, we're done with movie magic. I just did that because I didn't want the video to be, 2 hours long, but you may just go watch the build time lapse if you want to on the video itself. We're doing a little bit of a walk around here, you can see. But yeah, there's a timestamp on episode 3 of the building time lapse. You can go watch that anytime. And here I'm talking about how I'm going to make a town around the house via mine colonies, because that mod is in this mod pack, so that'll be very fun in the future. But getting into the actual tour itself, you can enjoy that here. Very nice. Let's get to the second floor. Very nice, very nice. It's my bedroom in there. Yeah. Moving on to the patio of the home, where I get to observe the nagas. By the way, the house's name I dubbed the Home of Knowledge. Quite a good name, I must say. Moving on to the third and final floor. This is where I'm gonna host my little celebrations or something. Have little parties with the friends when they're on the server. Which the server will happen in the future. I just have no idea when. But that's the end of episode 3. Now we're on to episode 4, Learning Fear. Alright, and we're back. Like the episodes before, we start at home. First things first, I discovered that there is now 2 nagas in front of my house. Don't you damn dare. Scary. I then try to get the attention of the nagas and I fail. Very sad. Just joking, it got too close for comfort. I then broke my ankles and got KO'd. Death 4. I then grabbed my loot to almost die again immediately. Grabbing a snack because I can, I discover a third. because this isn't becoming a problem. I then ran over to investigate just to get Wombo Combo, death number 5. I then skillfully grabbed my loot before going and investigating once more, because this is a threat. This is a threat to democracy, and it's a threat to our peace of life, our peace of mind. This cannot stand. It's so annoying, dude. I then seek refuge with Plague Doctor friend. Yes, get to safety, brother. We then investigate quests, collecting a recall potion, some loot, and 50 coins. I believe from that loot I got that belt. Oh no, it's right there. I don't know where the heck I got that belt. It's a cool belt though. I don't remember what it does. In the quest loot, we find a cave codex that is broken. It's overpowered. We can now find something that can bring us a lot of power in the future. Very fun. Got that disc from that little reward I got. That's very cool. When I get a jukebox in the future, we're gonna be blasting some tunes, I tell you now. After placing a chair and investigating the Plague Doctor's loot once more, we investigate the quests. From some quest loot, we get a diamond, some quest loot, and 120 coins. We then look at a tunneling machine. This is useful in the future. Haven't used it yet, but we will get to it. We had also received some mail from Mom that included a honeyed apple, what Mom found at the market, and that's it. And after leaving the quest, I find that the Plague Doctor has pushed us into the mines. We then try to go to bed. Fail. To try again and succeed. Very nice. And after waking up, I decide to open up some loot, getting more loot. A rat burger. And a legendary chef hat. That is a beautiful thing I've seen. I think I still have it. Hopefully it doesn't break. That'd be sad. We then decide to go mining. And after finding numerous resources, we eventually stumble upon this cave, and after further inspection, aka tunneling to a nearby name I saw, I discover Sarah the Witch, and she promptly killed me. Very sad. I then grab a source stone, connect it to the key, and then warp right to the grave. Very nice. And after a small fight, she killed me again. Using the same technique, I spawn right onto the gravestone and barely live this time, hiding and getting some comfort cocoa in my system. I then decide to skip that fight, discover a skeleton, and eat a quick snack. I discover Sarah is protecting the friggin' loot. And after having a quick snack and shooting an arrow at her, I decide to end the episode here after dying, of course, one last time. Anyway, we are now on to episode 5, progressing in many ways. Alright, getting right into this, I get a warp scroll, go to bed, wake up, go get some sticks, and make a diamond pickaxe out of those sticks. We then head to go get our loot, which we successfully do. I then start mining aggressively. We decide to go mining, heading further into the caves for that good loot, eventually finding some silver ore, which there was a crap ton of. And I mean a crap ton of. I don't know why there's so much silver, but there's just too much silver. And after all that, I find this big ol' cool cave with some more cool resources I grab up real quick. All of that is silver. Also grab a couple more things before heading deeper into the cave. At the back of the cave, I found this blitz. Very cool. Get to see him up and close and not 300 blocks in the sky. I grab a honeyed snack before deciding to end the blitz's life. I then got scared by the eyeballs. What? After which I grabbed what resources were left of that segment of the cave and then headed the other way again. Heading back, I found this creeper, which after it exploded became smaller creepers. I found that very interesting. I grab another snack before heading out, after looting of course. And I continue venturing, then find this thing. Very interesting. Don't know what it is or what it's about. Very, very teleporty though. We slay it with ease though. Terrifying. We then continue forth, slaying a creeper and mining while talking about more future aspirations. Specifically morally great things. We then use a return scroll to quickly and effectively return home, going to bed. Waking up in the morning, we get right down to smelting the ores we had gotten from that mining trip. Very nice. And after some rudimentary organizing, I then decide to look up on my mobile device where we could find andesite. And as you can see in the subtitles there, it's completely random. We will fix this later. After which I make 2 pickaxes, a single chest piece, and get right down to decorating with a cursed painting that I never figure out. Or not yet at least. I then decide to go adventuring before discovering a 4th wyvern. Get away from me. Professionally avoiding the dragons, I start heading towards where you can see me going in the footage. Look at that big old mausoleum. I don't know what that mausoleum's about, but one of these episodes we're gonna have just gonna be dedicated to that. We also find the jellyfish fields, you know the reference. We continue heading forth though, eventually just finding nothing at all basically, except for a little bit of loot here and there in the form of surface ores. And I don't think I said it earlier, but we're looking for andesite here. We grab a quick snack before jumping into the ocean because we are dedicated. Not dedicated enough to fight a vampire.
Did you see that?
We skillfully avoid that because we got so much training with the Nagas, you know. Heading towards this shore, we eventually find some pillagers to defeat and beat the crap out of them as we should. Spiritual dog saying hi again, very nice. It's a good omen when the spiritual dog comes to aid. I don't remember grabbing a quick snack there. I don't remember why the dog appears at all. After killing one of them, we skillfully head up the mountain and figure this place out. We just jump to the second floor, finding some good loot, heading inside, finding some more better loot. Which wasn't really better, but you know, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. That's classic, everybody knows that. We fall down. Thankfully their door was closed, but we grabbed the loot, 2 blocks of copper, got shot in the back, and then we grabbed their knowledge. Gotta collect the knowledge every step of the way. We head back up to the second floor, going through this time, finding nothing, and then actually successfully get up to the roof, which we find a little bit of that good loot, some arrows and such, you know, the good stuff. I then discover something grand in the distance, but not before getting distracted by a music-playing creature. That door opened, that was terrifying. But yes, there was a music-playing creature down there, you could see for a split second. I completely ignore that was way too fast for my comfort. We then head out for that dragon corpse I saw. Yep, that's what it was, a dragon corpse, don't mind the car. But yes, to collect one of those you need an open hand, and to shift, click with an open hand on a solid surface, so that's what I get up to next. But I do a cheeky and end the episode before you do it. We are now on to episode 6, raiding. Getting right into it, we successfully collect the bones, jumping in the water for the skull. I then see a structure nearby, which we go and investigate. Finding a bed, we sleep under the ocean for this night. We then immediately begin looting, finding cave tablets from Alex's caves and paper. We then move around, finding this little air pocket, collecting knowledge, and finding this spelunkery table, which we then quickly snatch up as well. Finding no other loot in the structure, I find a space to chill, seeing a shark, and then getting attacked from behind from a ocean creeper spawning right in the bed we slept in last night. I then grabbed the loot real quick before searching for that dang ocean creeper. Finding it, we then slay it with ease. It dropped fish, it's very cool. I then see our goal in the distance. Then getting distracted by hippocamps, we jump for it to try to tame it, which we fail, sadly, but not in the future, hopefully. We'll get one soon. Then heading to the goal, the Viking longship, we make our way onto their deck before destroying the spawners. Slaying a couple of them, we make our way down into the lower deck. We then make our way through the ship, destroying enemies and breaking spawners. Breaking more spawners, we then find a wither skeleton skull. We then begin looting. I as well break this gold block I find. The water was a mess to move through, it was painful. We find a golden apple and compressed iron chestplate in this chest, helping with the armor but definitely not saving us. After collecting the wither skeleton skull, I begin harvesting their knowledge. Moving our way through the cabin, I find a little bit more loot in the form of string and feathers. Continuing onto the deck, I destroy the spawner before getting mauled by a bunch of people with axes. It was very scary. Not letting that slow me down, I then go collect this honeyed apple I put in this chest before getting attacked by an endermite. The spiritual dog came back, so that's a good omen at least. I decided to go up into this ladder, whatever room this is, I don't know. I try to break the spawner, but then this dude gets in the freaking way. And I take that personally and start stabbing their toes. How many of there are there? After insulting the ladder, I get flanked and absolutely beat the crap out of. Barely surviving, but I survive because I'm a survivor. After inhaling the golden apple, we destroy the spawner successfully before hauling our way through and destroying the enemies. We get freaking pinned into this little corner though. It gets scary. It gets very, very scary. We win though. Course. We then book it to the ladder, making our way through. As I open this chest, it spawns that cursed entity there, which hits me and I am left on half a heart. We make it out barely alive. Alas, we continue forth, making our way up onto this desert heap. Well, that went very well. It sure did me. We then stop by this village trader, looking at his beautiful trades, even on the other side of the building, looking at his beautiful trades, his or hers, I don't mean to assume. We then find this adventurous tower. We then proceed to climb this tower, getting pretty high before falling and dying. I was still on half a heart. We spawn underwater, making our way forth. We eventually get our loot before noticing everything was gray. Turns out I had a wither skeleton skull on, so that's pretty cool. I forgot that effect, like, happens at all. We make our way further up the tower, though, eventually successfully getting up there. Finding a deserty waste stone, we try to collect it, fail, achieve it. It's Kreig-Corp. We also find a glider in this chest, some legendary loot. I then climbed to the tippity top of the tower before realizing how beautiful this game was, and then we jump for it. As we glide forth, I discover how beautiful this game is. Then we get home, fall down into the safety of our bed, waking up in the morning to begin organizing. I decide to test this ponder horn out we got from the villages, and then this thing appears. I then give my room a thorough inspection before grabbing some minerals to go make a dragon bone sword or some sort of sword to defeat that thing. Turns out to be an amethyst crab. I will then proceed to make a full set of iron armor. And that's the end of this episode as I do a cheeky cutoff. We're now on to episode 7, War with Wildlife. We enter this episode with a boss fight. The grand amethyst crab shall be defeated. I do talk about keeping in a zoo at some point, but we get beat the crap out. I jump down to fight it fairly, as one should. We do get almost one shot immediately, though. It was very scary. A very fun fight, though. There's that strike. You see me on half a heart. That thing did damage. I hastily grabbed a rat burger to regain my strength. I then jumped down, defeated on half a heart again. Then collecting the loot, we got amethyst crab shell and meat. I try to cook it, fail, though when we eat it we do gain a heart. Very good stuff. We also check out the recipes, finding mighty interesting things as of that staff, the chest plate, and this cluster focus. Looking more into the cluster focus, it's from Goaty. I don't know what's up with that. I have yet to figure it out, but we'll have a dedicated episode. I trust that. And then actually looking into it, I need to make a cursed infuser to make something for the focus thing. For that cursed infuser, we need to smelt some stone. So while that's smelting, I organize and decide to create a full set of silver armor. Secondary goal is making an armor stand, which we accomplish in this video. Then making the cursed infuser, we place it down and place an emerald in it, which then it proceeds to do nothing at all. Ignoring that, we need leather, so I begin looking up ways to do that. I figure kangaroo hide would best fit the job, but before we do anything about that, I place down this dragon skull, adjusting it as needed. It looks sick. You can't tell me it doesn't look sick. It's awesome. I love the Ice and Fire mod, top tier mod. And after continuing to decorate a little bit, we investigate the Goaty mod a little bit more, figuring out nothing. Heading to bed and waking up with kangaroo blood on my eyes, I head out to actually find some. Stopping to chop down a tree, a creeper explodes on my rear end, lighting everything ablaze, but I don't notice that until... oh no! We continue chopping anyway, getting all the materials we need before setting off once again. We pass through the desert, heading towards the village, and when we get there, I discover something horrifying. Another amethyst crab. How could this happen? Not letting that slow me down, I go to the guards for help. They seemed awfully helpful the entire time. Continuing through the village, I find some fish, look around, and find a kangaroo behind me. Then looking up how to tame a kangaroo, I discover it's a dead bush in a bush, so I go and collect some of that after finding some iron in this little structure we found. We then make some shears after smelting the iron block, collecting some dead bushes. I then tame the kangaroo. Not knowing what to do, I then spot it. It was a kiggy, which I go through great efforts to tame, eventually succeeding. Very nice. We then proceed to slaughter the kangaroos. I'm sorry to the Australian audience. Little did I know, kangaroos are deadly, and after collecting our stuff, I die again. Once again collecting our stuff. Through that process, I did collect a good amount of kangaroo hide, though, so we go on our way home. But before that, we stop to look at the scary tarantula hawk, I think. After which I tell you a story. I'm dang near touched by a tarantula hawk. Well, I did get touched. It landed in my hair. Good story. Anyway, we then attempt and succeed in taming another kiggy. Wondrous days indeed. We then head on home. Grabbing La Kiggy on the way, we successfully make it into bed, waking up for another productive morning. And after finding the kiggy stuck right there, I decide to make a cat door. After that wonderful display of my mental powers, I finish up making that armor stand, placing it down and armoring it as so. After which I continue to make the cast trapdoor using a staircase and a trap door. We place that down. I then begin to recap on the day. It was a very successful day before getting distracted with trying to make a name tag, which we don't have any resources for. That's the end of episode 7. Now, on to episode 8, the Andesite Adventure. This is going to be a quick one due to the fact that this video is already in the format just like this, so let's get right into that. Alright, getting right into it, I made a backpack using the kangaroo hide I had made last episode. We then begin on our great journey, deciding to head north to discover the andesite deposit we look for. Stopping by the nearby village, I get distracted as I normally do by this really strange noise. That was a strange noise indeed. Then I find this amethyst crab. I then take refuge into the shack, finding balloon dispenser. We'll get into that later. Going up the shaft, I discover a priest with good trades and loot. We then leave a smooch action right there. We then fly to safety, eat a quick snack, fly over to this building over here, loot it, and then be on our way. Just joking, we die because silly actions. We then get our stuff, collect some scaffolding, collect a trash can, and then be on our way. We fly high, we fly low. I discover this portal that glows. Looting it, we find a codex entry and some sort of portal scroll. We unlock freeze from the entry. I write down where the door is on the map, and then we discover a little bit of a Acacia village. I do some petty crimes, as you can see there. I die from this guy. Spawning in the village, we grab our stuff. I look around menacingly before heading off. We see beautiful views, more beautiful views. We are also collecting stuff as we go along here, like ores, like surface ores and such. We find this dragon corpse, very nice, get the bones from that. Continuing forth, we find this little ranch with a chicken coop and some elephants. I then research how to tame them. It takes an acacia blossom, which we try to do, but fail. We then head up this mountain, finding many surface ores, but no andesite. We also found this vampirism structure. We'll get into that much later. It'll be very fun. I write that down before we head off to the beach, just down south. We also discover this pirate cave-like place. No andesite though, sadly, so we head off, discovering that nature's compass can just lead us to an andesite cave. We then go where the compass points, passing many unique biomes before arriving at our destination. Mining straight down, we eventually find andesite and mine a whole bunch of it. You'll see later, but we only got about 5 stacks from this. We then pillar out of the cave, looking at the map, writing down where the hole is, and then we get a boat on the water, and then start our way that way. I am the captain! We then stop for some fruit, including a bastion fruit and a pomegranate before heading on our way again. We then stop at another shore, getting a frostea's fruit, and then head on our way once again. I meant to do again. Stopping at the shore one last time, we find a mystical botania plant, starting that, and a chicken nest. We then try to chop down a tree for some of that acacia blossoms, which we actually find, attempting to use that on the elephant here. But alas, no matter how hard I tried, I could not tame the elephant. Very sad. Not letting that bother me, we pass through many different biomes, finding a fire lily from ice and fire, seeing this beautiful mountain, and this beautiful mountain, and these beautiful mountains. This place is gonna make me do something. I don't know. And you just have to see this. Look at that. This generation is absolutely incredible. It goes through and everything. But alas, we harvest a little bit of this cool rock before eventually finding ourselves into the village and through this waystone. We are now home. Very nice. Very good. We sleep. We wake up. There's an event. I take note from Terraria and I block the door. Sort our inventory and smelt some armors. Put that on that stand and begin decorating with some bookshelves I got from that mystical priest shack from earlier. We then place down the rat trash can from the rat place we were at earlier, but then begin decorating with this dragon skull. I think they look too cool, dude. I'll never get over how cool they freaking look, and you cannot disagree with me, alright? But we continue decorating, placing down a carpenter's workbench, and that's the end of episode 7. Thank you. We're now on to episode 9, Insanity Adventured, the last one on the list. We begin by taking a look at the sun before complaining about how many dragons there are nearby. We place a lectern, write a nice little note in it, and then start crafting pickaxes. It's not an addiction, I swear. We grab some andesite to make some andesite alloy. Then chicken quests, we claim Beastmaster and collect some loot. From the loot, we get a cursed sandwich, placing it down and observing it all in its glory. After which, I make some shelves, realizing they're not the ones I wanted. Very disappointing. Though we do find a spot to put them, so it's not all a loss. Then crafting some bookshelves. We research more into bookshelves after which. Then discovering the Library of Alexandria. I sadly do not have enough diamonds for this. Then on to the quest, we collect glowberries, torches, some loot, and 100 coins, as well as a rat pouch, a couple more coins, and some loot. Acquiring a rotten egg from the loot, I throw it haphazardly because what else would you do with an egg that happened to be rotten? We then head to the create side of the quest, finding our next goals and a clipboard to be made, which we then make. I'm sure we'll use this well in the future. We then place down some strip logs for the making of andesite casing. This will be very, 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 very useful in the future. And as I finish up the andesite casing, I tell you about how I'm going to make the factories. Every pipe to have a purpose. It's going to be very cool and very technical. We then clean out our backpack, making room for the future adventures ahead. I also then discover we have enough diamonds to make that Alexandria enchanting table, which we then proceed to make an enchanting library and place down this chair. The Alexandria's table takes a little bit more stuff and I don't have the resources for that, but we then decide to kill the Naga that had recently showed up, trying our best. We then fall to our deaths. Collecting our loot, we finally get that crit on that bugger, making him fall to the ground. Finishing him off, we actually get a bit of loot from him this time, as you can see there, a Naga Fang. This is poisonous in the knife or the darts you can make with it, but that's it, that's all you can make. Then showing you what the doorbell sounds like, we head off to bed. Waking up in the morning, I search for Kiggy number 2 before getting distracted with underwater loot. And as we collect the loot, demons spawn, 2 of them. I then attempt to shoot them, but that didn't work at all. We eventually deal with them and I begin looting before dying to drowning. We then get our stuff before proceeding to continue looting, but not while being attacked. Having dealt with the enemies, we continue looting before discovering a zombie with a backpack, our lucky day. We ignore him though. We also got a piece of trophy and a book called the Miner's Guide, I believe. The Miner's Guide was useless, but trophies are never useless. Trophies, goodness. I then try to figure out how to use the trash can, figuring that only some items are able to be put in. And the reward I get for sacrificing these items was actually kind of cool. It was a block that can summon rats called a garbage block. Very fun. We put that in storage before deciding to head out for some kelp. We're gonna go on a great journey here. I can't wait for you to see what happens. We discover a seal, figuring that it needs a lobster tail to be tamed, so that'll be something we'll be keeping an eye out for. Not finding any kelp, we head on to land before finding a little bit of aloe vera, which gave us nothing. Very sad. The only one for thousands of blocks. No, I'm joking, I don't know. I then break and plant some sugar cane for future use. It's gonna be nice seeing this stuff growing in the future. I then decide we need a boat, so I begin looking for a tree, finding this Palo Verde tree, found that cool, but we decide to chop down one of the burnt trees, which we do very successfully due to magic. Then we build a boat and head on our way to this mystical adventure you're about to see. We go for quite a while before finding an underwater structure, which we haphazardly loot, barely making it to the surface, by the way. That was scary being so far away. But we keep on our way going. We keep going till nightfall, finding a tower on an island that's quite cool. We do also see a glowing jungle in the distance, which is quite cool. Getting closer to the shore, we hop off, start exploring immediately, because what else are we gonna do? Found no kelp on the entire journey, was depressing. Corpse flower, that's very cool. The forest is also sadly burning down. I'm sure it'll be fine. But other than that, we find a flash pine growing off of this cool tree before also finding the most terrifying thing I've seen in this game. They spawn so often, but death number 17. Very depressing, very far away. As you can see, this is why the episode is called Insanity. Look at that bloody crater. We get our stuff before heading on our way again. And as we move up the shore, I begin seeing some really cool biomes, including this blackstone biome, which then we do an interview with the recipes, but head on our way quickly after that. Finding an anteater, which is cool. I then decide to investigate the cool looking spires before heading off again to look for more kelp, because that's what this adventure was originally about anyway. We then pass through an amethyst rainforest, mix that up, finding a rainbow eucalyptus tree. Had to grab that, no way I couldn't, that tree looks sick. I then also decide to get this mahogany tree, because who wouldn't want that? As we pass through though, I find this witch hazel tree, one of the most beautiful trees I've ever seen in Minecraft, period. Just look at the innards of that, that's sick. But definitely one of the most beautiful trees I've ever seen in Minecraft. I grabbed that, no way I couldn't. Harvest everything I can get out of it, because I'm gonna want some of those at home, you know what I mean. And as a reward for myself, I drink a kelp shake, which then makes me a bit nauseous or trippy, I don't know. I also find these dogs out here don't have any bones is a sad reality I must face. But alas, we must head off. I do find a spooky spooter which entrapped me in its web and then was too fast for comfort. We slay it with ease though. Before finding a zombie with a backpack that was playing music, that was quite interesting. We slay him with ease, or her. And I check out the backpack, check out the jukebox, and it had some legendary discs in it. Check out the video to see them individually, I think. But we continue on forth, passing by some vampire hunters, and I find this buffalo, known as the most evil I've ever known in my life, death number 18. This was very mentally draining. We head on back and collect our stuff before sparing the buffalo's life, spotting a real dragon as well. Can't really see it well. But we continue forth. I spot another death machine, death number 19. Oh wow, I wonder what this is. After collecting our stuff, we teleport on home after a unsuccessful journey. I was about to say successful there, but we go to bed, wake up, search nature's compass, because we could have done that from the beginning, and find the cold ocean biome, immediately deciding to head off. I think we may have searched the inventory, but nonetheless, we pass mountains, find underwater waterfalls, underwater arches, before heading forth and finding a vampire hunter structure. Very cool. We go up the tower, finding many interesting things, eating a quick snack before heading up the full length of the tower, finding loot, finding cool stuff in the loot, or just loot, I don't know. We find this garlic infuser, which, that's pretty cool. But we're definitely going to come back for this. I then head off, finding some other cool structures in the distance. It was a pyramid. Little mini Egypt as I see there. And after a little bit of influencing, hey, don't mind me. Continuing on forth, we pass many bodies of water, eventually stumbling upon the back side of this mausoleum here. Very cool getting a closer look, but we spot some kelp in the water in the distance there, harvesting a little bit of that. So much closer to home too, but we head off, finding a little spawner structure. Harvesting that, killing the zombie with ease, collecting it. We continue on forth, finding a trumpet lock tree, and some demon dream seeds. This will be very fun in the future, but we continue for it. Running and jumping and falling, death number 20. We quickly go back, collect our stuff before heading on our way again. Passing the Kiggy, but we're home. We begin smelting the kelp immediately. Also, after a little bit of thought, I decide to add a new addition to the house, marking out the area and mining out a couple of the blocks, and suddenly, we're done. I think it looks good. It opens up a little bit of space. Don't mind that villager there. He's cool. We should see his trades in the actual video. Yeah. But that's gonna be the end of this entire compilation video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I did good. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in episode 11 with a new style and format, because I'll actually have a plan now. So watch out for that, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace!